It is important to consider that poverty is a complex and multifactorial phenomenon, and there is no single reason that explains why the majority of people may find themselves in disadvantaged economic situations. If fewer than 100 people control the same amount of wealth as the 3.5 billion poorest people on the planet, the result can be expressed in a single word: inequality. And it is not solely defined by the gap between those who have more and those who have less. It is also evident in many regions of the world where access to clean water, electricity, sanitation, education, healthcare, and other basic services is highly deplorable. The expansion of the economy at the beginning of this century helped millions of people escape extreme poverty. And while the Americas registered the highest growth rates in their history, the region continues to be the most unequal in the world, according to the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC. The UN and other international organizations have set the goal of ending poverty by 2030. But this implies that each year, 50 million people should begin to earn more than $1.90 per day. In other words, approximately 1 million people would have to escape poverty every week over the next 15 years. Is it possible? The classic definition of poverty is the lack of access to or control over the basic requirements to maintain an acceptable standard of living. This means that a person is poor if they do not have enough food or lack access to a combination of basic services such as education, healthcare, clean water, adequate sanitation, and a secure place of residence. Economists generally use income as a representative measure of poverty because it provides the means to secure proper attention to other basic needs. Therefore, most strategies to combat poverty should pay close attention to income generation as the primary solution to the problem. However, it is notable how for at least a decade now, the focus has been on providing compensations to those below the poverty line through very broad targeting programs for the poor, in order to provide them with some form of compensatory food and healthcare aid. The key to ending poverty lies not only in economic growth but also in the importance of reducing inequalities between those who have more and those who have less. Reducing inequality involves considering the variety of contexts. In addition to income inequality in adulthood, there is also inequality based on gender, age, disability, race, class, ethnicity, religion, and opportunities, which usually manifest during different stages, starting from childhood, according to the World Bank's development indicators. Reducing underlying inequalities and eradicating extreme poverty implies analyzing why it is so difficult for the poorest 40% to increase their incomes and break free from the poverty cycle. The majority of income inequality among adults in the Americas and the world is due to personal circumstances that occurred during their childhood, which are beyond their control and responsibility. According to experts, these circumstances are linked to race, gender, place of birth, and the educational level of parents. These factors are so crucial in determining a person's future that an indicator called the Human Opportunity Index has been created, which allows evaluating how different the future of a child born to poor parents in a rural environment can be compared to one born to educated parents in an urban setting. The parents' education level and family income strongly condition the future of children, making the lack of opportunities not random but systematic. Much of that future is shaped while we are in the womb and in our first 5 years. To accelerate growth and improve the incomes of the poorest 40%, more well-designed jobs and social protection programs are needed. However, one of the keys lies in investing in children living in the poorest households and expanding the available opportunities for them. For example, this tool allows us to see what is happening with these children and how many there are, thus contributing to breaking the intergenerational transmission of poverty, improving the economy, and driving development. Perhaps the central problem faced by those who try to build a relationship between education and poverty is the difficulty of directly associating one with the other. Poverty is often defined or recognized based on economic considerations, according to different approaches and proposals. The most commonly used, although also the most criticized, method is defining the poor based on the construction of a poverty line using household surveys, minimum nutrition requirements, building basic food baskets, and evaluating these, as well as human development factors such as schooling, access to culture, and literacy. Those who do not meet the minimums established in that line are considered poor. The closest thing to an educational theory of poverty is the hypothesis understood as a guide for action related to the notion of educational quality, which questions whether educational action provides the necessary elements to achieve the first promise of education and the consequent imagined better life as a result of being educated. Common among researchers is the assumption that being educated contributes to reducing poverty, although they do not explain in detail how this contribution happens in practice. They provide measurements and statistical comparisons, showing that educated individuals have access to higher income levels. Another common approach is to demonstrate that the poor more frequently receive, or are exposed to receiving, poor quality education. Lack of financial education is a significant factor contributing to poverty and economic difficulties in many individuals. Financial education is the ability to understand how money, income, savings, investment, and debt work, as well as the capacity to make informed and responsible financial decisions. Mismanagement of income. Individuals lacking financial education may struggle to effectively manage their income, leading to unnecessary expenses or a lack of savings for emergencies. Irresponsible borrowing. The lack of understanding about how loans and interest rates work can lead people to borrow beyond their ability to repay, resulting in mounting debts and financial hardships. Lack of savings and investment. Without financial education, many individuals fail to grasp the importance of regular savings or are unaware of different investment options that could help grow their money. Falling for scams and poor decisions. People with low financial literacy are more vulnerable to falling for scams and making risky financial decisions due to a lack of knowledge to properly evaluate opportunities and risks. Lack of long-term financial planning. The lack of financial education can hinder the creation of a solid financial plan for the future, such as retirement planning or homeownership. Low negotiation skills. Individuals with limited financial education may struggle to negotiate salaries or contract terms, negatively impacting their income and job opportunities. Financial education is a fundamental tool to empower people and provide them with the necessary skills to make informed and responsible decisions regarding their personal finances. Financial education programs, both in schools and communities, are essential to help individuals acquire financial knowledge and skills, enabling them to improve their economic well-being and avoid falling into poverty. It is also important for governments and financial institutions to promote financial education and facilitate access to resources and tools that foster a better understanding of financial concepts. The lack of understanding about how the economy works can be attributed to a combination of complex factors. Some of the most common reasons are: complexity of the subject. Economics is a broad and complex discipline that involves a variety of concepts, theories, and models. For many people, especially those without a background in economics, it can be challenging to understand due to technical jargon and the abstraction of economic concepts. Lack of financial and economic education. formal education often lacks adequate training in economics and finance. As a result, many people do not receive a solid foundation in basic economic principles and how they apply in daily life. Low financial literacy. Financial literacy refers to the ability to understand and use financial concepts to make informed decisions about money. The lack of financial literacy can hinder people from understanding and properly managing their personal finances and, consequently, the economy in general. Biased or incorrect information. In the information age, it can be difficult to discern reliable sources of economic information. The presence of biased or incorrect economic news and analysis can confuse people and make it challenging for them to grasp the subject. Difficulties in visualizing the economic system as a whole. The economy is an interconnected system in which the actions of an individual, company, or country can have effects on other aspects of the economy. This complexity can make it difficult for people to visualize how all parts of the system are intertwined. Lack of interest or different priorities. Some people may simply lack a particular interest in economic issues or have different priorities in their lives, leading them to pay less attention to how the economy functions. Effects of inequality and poverty. The lack of resources and opportunities can hinder some people from accessing quality education and resources that would enable them to understand and fully participate in the economic system. Despite these challenges, it is essential to promote economic and financial education in society to empower people with the necessary knowledge to make informed decisions about their personal finances and gain a better understanding of how the economy functions as a whole. This can lead to greater civic participation, better individual economic decision-making, and increased capacity to address economic challenges collectively. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Remember to activate the notifications so that you stay updated every time we upload a new video. It's free, and you support us in continuing to create content. Thank you.